Coming up on your MTN 530 News, a proposed data center for Great Falls hits a dead end. We learn more about the developer's change of plans. Plus, baby formula recall.
So if they have this formula, they should discontinue use of it. They should save the product in case their child becomes ill, and then it can be potentially tested to see if there's a connection.
What parents need to know about the growing botulism outbreak that sparked the decision. And later,
I'm Jonathan Ambarian in Helena. After 2 days of discussion, the Montana Public Service Commission has taken final action on Northwestern Energy's proposed increases to gas and electrical rates. I'll have more on what they approved and what they said no to.
From Montana's news leader, this is the MTN 530 News.
Good evening and thanks for making KRTV your choice for news at 5:30. I'm Tim McGonigal. First tonight, a proposed data center for the Electric City is now off the table. Back in June, the Great Falls Development Alliance announced that Atlanta-based real estate developer Ardent was considering Project Cardinal, a 569-acre site between Malmstrom Air Force Base and the Missouri River. When announcing the project, Ardent said it was working with Northwestern Energy on a power transmission study, but they admitted progress was slow. While data centers aren't part of GFDA's strategic plan, the organization did begin a due diligence process, but in the end, Ardent changed course.
This particular group recognized that the timelines on power from Northwestern and others, it just wasn't a good fit, and they have withdrawn their project.
Initial estimates stated the project would bring 1,500 to 2,000 construction jobs and between 150 and 200 high-paying permanent positions, plus additional indirect employment. We'll hear more from GFDA and a data center critic later this week. Tonight, a warning for parents and infant formula recall has been issued due to botulism risk following 23 suspected cases across the country tied to ByHeart formula. And while there have been no reported cases in Montana, MTN's Quentin Shores tells us health officials are still urging parents to check their products.
The press release was dropped to recall infant formula by ByHeart. So it was originally certain lots and quantities and sizes, but now it has extended to all of their formula products.
ByHeart, the infant nutrition company, is in the midst of controversy as the FDA recently recalled their infant formula products due to concerns of them causing infant botulism.
It occurs when an infant ingests the spores of a certain bacteria, and then the toxin will then grow in their stomach and can make them very ill.
It's not yet clear how the C. botulinum bacteria was introduced into the formula, but the batches are suspected to have been contaminated during the manufacturing and bottling phase.
If they have this formula, they should discontinue use of it. They should save the product in case their child becomes ill, and then it can be potentially tested to see if there's a connection.
23 cases across 13 states have been reported as of November 19th, and no cases have been reported yet in Montana. But parents should be wary if their infants start exhibiting symptoms.
Illness oftentimes starts with like constipation, fussiness, that sort of thing. So if parents have been using this and their child has symptoms, they need to call their pediatrician right away if they notice any changes.
More serious symptoms can include difficulty swallowing, poor feeding, decreased facial expressions, and droopiness. Local retailers have already pulled the formula from stores, but it's important to note changes as babies go through a lot of formula in a short span.
Babies typically start off at 1 to 2 ounces at birth. So as they grow, they go through more, right? So if you think about we're feeding a baby 6 to 8 times in a day, and if that baby's eating 6, then they're probably going up to about 50 ounces per day.
If you find yourself needing assistance with replacing formula, you can contact the health department or Toby's Nursery through the link on our website. In Great Falls, Quentin Shores, MTN News.
Today has been one of the coldest days of the month so far, as temperatures have been stuck in the 30s for most of the day. And right now it is chilly outside. Temperatures are in the low to mid 30s in most spots. And for a lot of us, these temperatures are about 10 to 20 degrees cooler than the temperatures were yesterday at this time, especially in the central part of the state. Currently 19 degrees cooler in Great Falls than 24 hours ago. It was a bit breezy today in eastern portion of the north central Montana, but the wind has been diminishing over the past few hours. Right now we just have a light breeze in most spots. There were also some scattered snow and even a few rain showers out there today as the disturbance worked its way through our area. Still a couple isolated rain and snow showers right now, but most locations are currently dry. We are going to have mostly sunny skies tomorrow and Friday, and then cloudier skies are expected this weekend. We're also going to have mainly dry conditions through the weekend. Little to no wind again tomorrow, but widespread gusty to strong winds will return on Friday and stick around through the beginning of next week. We're also going to have pleasant temperatures for the next several days with highs in the 40s and the 50s. And I'll have a look at your 7-day forecast in a few minutes.
It's day 2 of discussion at the Public Service Commission, where Montana's top utility regulators continue talks about Northwestern Energy's proposals to raise gas and electric rates. MTN senior political reporter Jonathan Ambarian was there and brings us the latest.
After 16 months of work on Northwestern Energy's latest rate case, the Montana Public Service Commission took action Wednesday morning on new proposed electrical and gas rates. In the end, the commission disallowed some, but not all, of the company's contested proposals for rate increases.
This is the Northwestern Energy gas and electric rate case.
The commission approved parts of the new rate system Tuesday, but they saved the pieces that were most at issue until Wednesday. Earlier this year, Northwestern reached a settlement with other parties in the rate case. They agreed on a partial increase in electrical and gas rates, but they left the commissioners to decide other issues. The most notable being how much money Northwestern should be able to collect from ratepayers to cover the costs of the Yellowstone County Generating Station, a natural gas-powered electric plant near Laurel. PSC staff recommended that commissioners lower those allowed costs, saying Northwestern hadn't provided enough evidence to show building the plant was the best option.
Staff concludes that there were significant deficiencies in the planning and procurement processes that raise serious doubts about whether Northwestern minimized total costs and risks for customers over the long term.
Commissioners agreed to most of the recommendations, but decided to let Northwestern claim several million more dollars to account for the costs of stopping work while an environmental lawsuit held up their permit.
Trying to get a project of this size, if you can imagine, getting contractors lined back up again and started back up again, fired back up again, it is no small matter.
Of course, the PSC is going to have a lot more to say about Northwestern Energy in the coming months. The commission is going to need to weigh in on the company's proposed merger with Black Hills Corporation. But so far, that issue hasn't been officially scheduled to be heard in front of the PSC. In Helena, Jonathan Ambarian, MTN News.
The 124th Brawl of the Wild is this weekend, and energy is spilling far beyond the stadium. MTN's Anissa Coomer takes a look at some local events, bringing Cat and Grizz fans together ahead of Saturday's showdown.
Here in Great Falls, excitement is already building ahead of Saturday's Brawl of the Wild. Local groups are preparing watch parties and community events, all set to kick off this weekend as fans get ready for Montana's biggest rivalry.
The atmosphere, there's tons of people. It's just a really good time. So everybody just wears their favorite team and just it's fun.
Across town, bars and restaurants are stacking their schedules with game day gatherings. At the Heidelberg, that watch party comes with a charitable twist.
We're doing a canned food drive, and on Saturday, if you bring in a canned food, you get double points. And then at the end, we will do a drawing.
Along with the food drive, they are also holding a raffle with prize baskets and gift cards, with all proceeds going to Eagle Mount.
Great way to have a competition between the Bobcats and the Grizz. You know, before the game, seeing which team brings in the most food.
For those who want to celebrate the action by getting active, the Peak Health and Wellness is hosting a charity cycle ride on Friday morning.
Started between our two instructors, Colton and Sandra. They've always had kind of a rivalry. Colton's always been the Bobcats and Sandra's always been the Grizz, and they kind of did an in-class rivalry, and then it just kind of grew and grew from there.
Donation jars at the front desk let visitors cast a vote for their team. All money raised goes to support the Sober Life.
And the team that has the least amount of votes, that instructor is going to get the pie to the face at the end of the ride this year.
And if you can't make the ride, the Peak will host a donation-based pancake breakfast Friday morning from 6 to 11 a.m., also benefiting the Sober Life.
It's such a huge event in Montana, and so I just love that energy is going to be brought here.
And if you're planning to stay home or host your own watch party, you can watch the game right here on MTN. The pregame show starts at 11, followed by kickoff at noon. In Great Falls, I'm Anissa Coomer, MTN News.
And a reminder, you can watch the Brawl of the Wild right here on KRTV Saturday. Our coverage begins at 11 a.m. Kickoff set for high noon from Washington Grizzly Stadium, followed by the postgame show. A new collaboration between the University of Montana and Providence Health seeks to shine a spotlight on those living outside of the bigger cities. Using Providence's data, UM can research ways to better help people in rural areas receive support or treatment. MTN's Emily Brown explains how this could change how Montanans engage with the healthcare system.
A new partnership between Providence and the University of Montana hopes to increase access to healthcare in rural communities that will better outcomes and save lives.
Rural communities face a lot of unique health challenges, and it's the combination of the type of health conditions, the chronic health conditions that they have, and the resources available to manage those conditions.
The latest healthcare advancements aren't just for hubs or major cities. Patient data can now pinpoint the type of care needed in smaller towns.
Solar practitioner in Wolf Point or in Plentywood. How do we keep them from feeling isolated?
And the reasons patients go to the doctor from places like Sula or Paradise might be different than in Kalispell.
Each of them are individualized, and their needs are differential based on place.
Enter Resolve, the partnership between Providence and the University of Montana, working to change how people access care.
Providence has this extensive rural care network, and we have a lot of data that comes out of that care that tells us a lot about what's working and what isn't, and in managing those unique challenges.
Utilizing UM's research capabilities and Providence's reach in communities
allows our researchers to broaden the kinds of research experiences that they can have.
Treatments can be developed specifically for those who need it through telehealth services and soon mobile clinics and medicine through the mail.
Their ideas and generate innovations that will work in the context where they live. And that's a much more powerful way to do research and innovation than what is typically done in the field.
Resolve has multiple projects underway already, with hopes to place rural communities at the forefront of healthcare.
Changes the idea that rural communities are always downstream of innovation and just waiting for something to be developed that can help them, and instead engages those communities as activators of innovation and partners in innovation.
In Missoula, Emily Brown, MTN News.
Coming up, a new voice for vulnerable children.
I don't think anyone would want a kid to go into a courtroom without a person backing them.
From Montana's news leader, you're watching the MTN 530 News.
Welcome back. For years, Butte children have been navigating the courts on their own. Now a nonprofit is working to be a voice for those kids in the courtroom. MTN's Megan Thompson meets with members of CASA as they prepare to launch their program in January.
Heading to court can be a daunting experience for adults, but imagine navigating the system alone as a child. Well, for years, that's been the case for many Butte children, but now a nonprofit is hoping to help be the voice for children in court, and they're looking for volunteers and donations.
I don't think anyone would want a kid to go into a courtroom without a person backing them.
Katie Neske is the interim project manager for CASA of Butte Silver Bow. CASA stands for Court Appointed Special Advocate, a volunteer position that helps children navigating the dependency and neglect system. Butte Silver Bow is the 16th CASA program in the state.
I absolutely think that this is a necessary service needed in Butte, and the judges have both expressed that as well. I think the numbers really speak for themselves.
We have 130 kids in foster care in Silver Bow County, which is, for the size of Butte, a lot of kids. About the same amount of kids as Billings has. So yes, we need advocates.
Jan Monday is the board chair for Butte's CASA. She expects the program to be sanctioned and begin services in January. Volunteer advocates do not need to have experience, but they do need to submit to a background check and participate in a 6-week training program.
This is our community. We want to see kids and families be successful in our community.
Before moving to the mining city, Sherry League was an advocate in Beaverhead County for 6 years. After recent slashes to federal grants, it seems like a tough time to start a nonprofit. But despite the uncertainty, Sherry and others with Butte CASA are embarking on the journey.
It's just this really important piece that's missing right now.
CASA of Butte Silver Bow has received a matching grant of $25,000 from the Dennis and Phyllis Washington Foundation. Please head to our website to find out how you can donate or become an advocate. In Butte, Megan Thompson, MTN News.